All right. Thank you for the introduction. So today's discussion will be about education and how AI will improve it and affect it in the future. So we all know that education is a tool in society that has become a very crucial part of our lives, and it has been around since the beginning of time. Eventually, having been there throughout history, it has gone through countless changes. After the emergence of technological developments and the emergence of AI, we would like to say that AI is starting to look like the way forward in education systems. However, there lies many uncertainties regarding how it will be introduced into the education system, from both an economic and a social perspective. So today we would like to take Gabriele Zedlmayer's opinion on how education will move forward with AI, and given her expertise in giving solutions, and more specifically sustainable solutions towards social issues, we would like to know what she thinks about resetting education systems with AI. So to start it off, we would like to ask, does the education system need a reset? And if so, why?
Okay, very good question. We're living in very exciting times. Actually, we're living through a mega transformation from an old world that we knew into a new world where I don't think we really understand exactly how it's going to work and how it's going to function. And the rules certainly haven't been set yet. So this is really driven by digitization, digitizations of products and solutions, services. Exponential technologies play a huge role here. Like they change the way we work, they change the way we communicate, they change everything. They change the business models. And we've seen that in numerous ways. Just think about how we used to play CDs just, 10 years ago, an industry that has completely gone away because everybody streams today. Or in the last 10 years, new business models have emerged, and we have seen a move from product to platform, so that companies like Uber or Airbnb could scale very, very quickly because they didn't need infrastructure. They didn't need to buy hotels or cars or build hotels. They didn't need that many employees. Very scalable moments, very quick change. And at the same time, now we're moving from a 2D world to a 3D world. We're seeing companies, not only Facebook, but Microsoft, all the big players investing into the metaverse, where we're going to move into the virtual space. And then take a step back and think about our education system that looks like it's from the industrial age, where teachers talk in a standard classroom at the class. You have to see, and you will recognize very quickly, that neither the format nor the content will prepare the children for what's to come. So we have to stop educating our children for a world that no longer exists.
Thank you, Gabriele. I think I definitely agree with that. Building up on what you said, you mentioned that we will go into a metaverse, and we're going from a 2D world to a 3D world. What does that mean for the skills to move forward? What are the skills needed tomorrow?
Yeah, so I think at the moment, we're already tackling just digitization at all. Overall, metaverse is the next step. And even in the world of automation, what we're seeing is that everything that is standard can be digitized. And we know our school system is entirely standard. It's standard books, standard tests, standard everything. And we know that the machines can do that so much better than we can. So we have to think, what makes us truly human? What are the skills that the machine cannot replicate? And that's really the creativity that we have, the critical thinking through very complex themes, where we understand how we bring different people across the silos, across the dimensions together, how we motivate them, how we show empathy, how we understand how other people tick, so they all come together and tackle solutions together. It's also about learning how technology can help us solve those problems. Technology is a tool. And although a lot of the young people today have smartphones and they're digital natives, not that many really know how to use the tool to transform their lives, to really build these business processes, to build plans, and to really create solutions. It's oftentimes, a social game or a social tool or an entertainment tool. So these are skills that are going to be critical. And it's also about mental strength for these children to really grow up in a world that is very different from what we knew in the past, where you really have to differentiate between what's fake, what's real, what's relevant, what's irrelevant. So I think all these skills, along with self-motivation to actually get stuff done, which is becoming more and more important, is about the type of skills that we need to really succeed in this type of a world.
Of course, I completely agree with that. Building up on that, do you think that there will be occupations that will no longer exist in the job world? And do you think that robotics will play a huge role in that?
Yeah, I mean, we've seen already that a lot of the jobs as we knew them have gone away. And there are numerous examples. More and more processes get automated and, they become self-service. And you can see this in just about every dimension, every aspect, every industry. I visited a car manufacturing plant not too long ago, and I hardly met any people. Everything is full of robots. Everything is fully automated. Yes, absolutely. What can be standardized will be standardized and will be automated. There is absolutely no question about it.
Yes, absolutely. Let's take a step back. So we are talking about the skills in demand tomorrow and how it will affect the job world. But in education, how would we prepare our students for a job world like this tomorrow?
Yeah, I really do believe that we completely need to reinvent the system. As your session says, it's a great title. It needs a complete reset in very many different aspects. I mentioned the classroom already. It's a completely unfit setting where somebody stands in front of a class and speaks at children. So the format, the classroom has to be different. The content has to be entirely different in order to prepare the children for what's to come. It's a different mindset that's required. We've already talked a little bit about that. We also have to make sure that we have the bandwidth, that we really play and take advantage of the existing platforms we already have and build new ones. It's not like we don't have anything. There are great new learning management platforms that are very successfully used in some of the school systems. So let's replicate that and let's make sure it's used otherwise. Let's make sure that the kids understand how to use the tools to build solutions to the problems of today. It's about teacher training. Teachers will play a very different role in this type of an environment. Information has been democratized. Knowledge has been democratized. The teacher isn't there to teach so that children will just absorb a number of facts. The teacher is much more of a coach. I have a great example from a fantastic teacher in around Stanford in Palo Alto, Esther Wojcicki. And what she's done is she's sort of taken a journalistic approach to teaching, so that the children or the students go out and they research certain topics. They learn to distinguish, in terms of, oh, this is useful information, this is stuff I don't need. They learn to use sources, to evaluate sources. They learn how to analyze. They come together in groups and then determine, here's an outcome, here's a different outcome. Then they go and present everything back to the class. So she really teaches the children how to learn. It's not just simply about the content, it's how to learn. And this is going to be a very useful skill throughout your life, because we know that people will have to learn throughout their lives. Now, I want to make sure that people understand it's not just about learning, it's about staying relevant and having the relevant skills, because you can learn as much as you want and still not know anything. So you have to learn relevant things, learn how to learn how to be always relevant. And this is not an easy task. It's a huge challenge, but it's also a tremendous opportunity. And I think what we need to prepare in the classroom is sort of a sandbox type of environment where students can experiment, they can fail, they can get up again, and they can try again, where the teacher helps them to sort of motivate themselves, to know where to find the right of tools, where to find the right type of information, and really be there as a coach to guide them in the right direction. I think this is a very different approach where you can also go across subjects. You don't necessarily teach one subject here and another there. You can easily combine sciences and combine biology with chemistry, with mathematics, use useful, real examples so that the kids understand right away, this is a good exercise. This is why I'm learning certain things. So it's really going away from teaching at students to really experiencing, doing things together and making sure that we try and that we experiment and that it's not just a theoretical type of approach.
So, Gabriele, I take it that students should be more multidisciplined rather than having just one specific goal or one specific skill.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you see that in some schools where they will go into nature with the students, and there they will explain them chemical sort of conditions and connections and biology, and they will use math in order to ensure, explain to them how sort of photosynthesis works. So it's really bringing it all together and making sure that the students understand why they're learning that. And when they learn how to learn, they will be able to also explain it back to you because they have understood the principles behind it.
Of course, yes. So building up on that, we know that mindset is very important in a world like this. And moving on, I think it'll be even more important. But to you, how important do you think mindset is to a student?
I think mindset is probably one of the most important things right now because we've already said knowledge has been democratized. It's accessible to just about everybody. It depends on you, what you do with it. So really, it's having the right type of mindset, the right type of curiosity to say, I understand things are changing, so let me find out how. Which are the best sources? There is, for example, one website that's called Do It Yourself Genius, which is like the world is your classroom. There you can go and you can find relevant websites that you need in order to better understand this subject or that subject. It's all at your fingertips. It's about perseverance. It's about motivation, curiosity, the willingness to experiment. But it's also a lot about discipline and about bringing maybe a little bit people together to do things together. I give you an example because you talked about AI before. The University of Helsinki has created a great introductory course called Elements of AI for its citizens, basically, because it said, times are changing, our citizens should know about AI. They've made that available to everybody around the world. You can access it for free. So why not get together, motivate a few of your friends to say, guys, let's take this course together. It's pretty simple, it's introductory, but it's much more fun if we do that together. I've seen many different little teams do it, and they were really excited about it. But it comes from their own motivation to learn about very relevant subjects. So yes, it's absolutely critical.
Of course. And to wrap it up today, what can all of us do to be better prepared for a moving world, especially in education?
Yeah, I think this is the time where you can't just sit back and wait for things to happen. I've said we're in a mega transformation, but this transformation doesn't just happen. It is being made. It is being made by all of us. It's being really designed by all of us. So the more that we get involved to say, look, I'm going to help establish these new rules, the better the world will be. We have to make sure these technologies are used to solve the problems of the world. There will be a lot of professions. There is not going to be a lot of unemployment if we have that type of mindset, because there are so many things that we still have to tackle, and we have to apply technology to do it. And I think exactly what we said before, this self-motivation, knowing where to find the information that helps me to move ahead, tapping into others is so, so critical. This is not something anybody can do alone. Finding teams, groups, organizations that have similar goals to you. And I think in the past, people were always telling people, when we grew up, you have to know the rules to understand how to move forward. I think that's outdated. You have to make the rules. That's sort of what you need to be successful going forward.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Gabriele. It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. All the best.